Hi, I'm Gina Ventola, Practice Manager for Ventola Law. One of the best parts of my job is meeting with business owners. However, at times, it can be difficult to meet in person. That's why I started this show, to introduce you to local business owners in our community. Join me on Your Virtual Coffee, a new kind of networking. Hey everyone, welcome to Your Virtual Coffee, a web show that introduces you to great local businesses in the Denver metro area. I am so excited about this interview. Today, my guest is the wonderful Amanda McLernon. She is an entrepreneur obsessed with keeping social media social. As founder and owner of McLernon Co, she helps companies and individuals develop a healthier, more intentional relationship with social media while implementing real, honest social media strategies. Her methods go far beyond vanity matrix as she teaches her clients how to create and nurture genuine conversations, connections, and communities online. Committed to spread the gospel of #keepsocialmediasocial, Amanda and her team speak online and in real life about mindfulness, social media, and entrepreneurship. And with that, Amanda, welcome to my show.
Hello! I am so pumped to be here. Thank you for having me on.
So we tend to like to do business with people that we like, know, and trust. So I'd kind of like to let the audience get to know you on an individual level first.
Yep.
So with that, are you originally from Colorado?
I am not. I am originally from Wisconsin, and I have the power of being able to connect with many people over locations on where they've lived, because after college, I set a goal to live all over the country, and I met that goal. So I'm originally from Wisconsin, but I've also lived in Sevilla, Spain. I've lived in San Antonio, Texas. I've lived in Phoenix, Arizona, and Reno, Nevada. And now I am a proud Denver resident for the almost 3 years now. And I will say Denver, for the foreseeable future, Denver's home. Denver is where my soul has come alive in a way that I've never felt it. I don't know if it has to do with the altitude or the people or both, probably definitely both, but I'm thrilled to be here in Denver.
So what do you like to do for fun?
Everything. So one of the things that you and I have in common is that we love to learn. So one of the first things I will say is learning is fun for me. And I'm constantly learning, but it's not always about super hard subjects. I like to paint. I like to draw. But I'm not very good at anything, at some of these things, but I just like to do stuff. When I was a kid, I was in 4-H for 10 years. And if any of you guys watching are 4-Hers, you understand that you have projects. And every year I would take like 5 to 13 different projects. And I would just learn about new hobbies. And so that's something I've been able to bring along in my life as an adult. And so I ski, I bike, I walk, I do improv. That's one of my favorite things. I make up stories about squirrels. I'm a huge fan of just being silly and creative in my life in general. So I like to do a wide variety of things.
Well, the creative side of you is probably what you're going to answer as far as this next question, but what drew you to working in social media?
Okay, so I love social media. And part of the reason I love social media is because I love people. And when I was 11 years old, I lived in Appleton, Wisconsin, and I lived out in the country. So I lived a 12-minute drive from like the city area. And I was always so jealous of the city kids because they had so many friends to play with in their neighborhood. And I only had 2 friends in my neighborhood. And if they weren't available, you had to do stuff on your own. Well, when I was 11, I discovered AOL Instant Messenger. And my screen name was Amanda Darling. And I am so grateful that I was able to get that because I am a wicked fast typer now, like really wickedly fast typer. And so when I was 11, I discovered that, and it started my journey with social media. And it allowed me to connect with people that I had met not only at school, but also through 4-H in different counties, in different states, and eventually in different countries. And it's allowed me to keep the relationships that I had far into other areas of my life. And one of the reasons I love that, again, going back to loving to learn, it doesn't matter where I've lived now, because of my digital world that I've created for myself online, I have a hugely different perspective, interesting digital world that I have made myself. So I get to see all sorts of different cultures, different viewpoints, even different languages. Like I have multiple friends who only speak Spanish and French, and I don't know exactly what they're saying most of the time, but it's so cool to see in my feed. And I think that's where my love of social media really, like from a very early age, got started. And that's what continues to drive my love for social media today.
So with that passion that you have, how can McLernon Co. help business owners, or best help business owners?
Yeah, so there's a lot of ways. There's a lot of ways we can serve. We serve our clients in a very holistic fashion, which, if you know me, that's very natural for us. The conversation is never just about business. The conversation is about life, and it's about values, and it's about business, all at the same time. So we help our clients through a variety of different ways, but our traditional social media agency offers social media services that either can help take things off of a business owner's plate if they're busy, if they're stressed, if they don't love social media. We do have some services that can help the lifting. We also have tons of different services that allow us to coach that business owner into developing a social media process in their business that works for them, and getting a whole system set up. And that really, to be transparent, that's our favorite way to work, because if you can build a good custom process into your own business, it's going to be something that you can have for a lifetime, and it can continue to grow and transition with your business as your business grows and transitions. So I would say we do have agency level services. We also have coaching services that allow us to help you get set up into a better system.
So it sounds like part of what you do is that you help business owners kind of formulate those long-term plans
Yeah.
of where to get to, kind of a roadmap.
Yeah,
Right.
I am a visionary. It's a gift that I have, and it's really strong, actually. Like, it's really, really strong. And I joke that I joke that like I can see the future, which makes me sound crazy. But here's the thing: is like I'm creating the future, that vision in my mind. And when a business owner comes to me and has something that they need help with, it's not hard for me to see where they want to go. It's not hard for me to translate that. But sometimes business owners come and they have this huge vision, and I'm like, that's dope. That's also going to take you 3 years to get there, very lovingly, and it's going to take you a decent amount of investment. So how about you're at point A? How about right now we focus on getting point B? Do you know what I mean? And then why don't we go to point C? And then why don't we take the natural next step there? And so I have this beautiful gift of being able to see the whole, let's use my alphabet there. I have the beautiful gift of being able to see A to Z, but also know because I own this business, I manage our own business, I manage our own marketing automation system. I know how much time, energy, money it takes to put into this. And I know what things need to happen first, just to knock down some easy wins to get us into a better flowing system. And also, because I've run an agency for the last 4 years, I know where in your business social media is going to bleed you dry if you don't get the right process set up. So I think that's what really makes us such a killer team for someone.
So what makes McLernon Co. different or special from other marketing agencies?
So the way that I'm going to answer this question is it's our energy. And I know that's kind of a weird way to answer that question, but I'm going to explain that. And if you're just getting to know me, hi, like this is
That's
part of
why
this.
been looking forward to this interview.
Yeah. Look, when you hire a marketing agency, you're not just getting marketing services. And if that's what you're looking for, truly, like, go to Fiverr, dude. Like, go find something else. What you are doing is you are hiring a partner to help you, like, make the vision of your business happen. Like, marketing doesn't exist just to sell shit. And if it does, by the way, I'm over that level of capitalism. I'm over it. I consider myself a student and a believer in conscious capitalism, which is not something I created. It is something that is being taught in business school. It's something that if you're curious about, you should go study it because it's awesome. But I'm a conscious capitalist. And when our clients come to us, they have visions, they have missions, they have dreams, and they have a purpose. Like, there is a reason that their company exists. And when you hire us, because we don't take, I don't want to say we don't take, but like, there are people that we say, like, we're just not the best fit. And we don't take every client that comes to us, because when we work with our clients, we are fired up about what it is that you are trying to spread, the energy that you're spreading, the mission you're spreading, or the product. Like, what needs does it serve? So I would say just what makes us different is what makes every marketing company different. It's just the energy. And I would never say that ours is better than another marketing agency's, because I have some amazing friends who have different energy than I, who are right for different projects than I. So I would say that. The other thing I will say, I don't know if you will be able to find someone who has as much passion for the online and social media community. And what I mean by that is not just like the fact that it exists. You guys, I don't just have an Amanda McLernon in real life physical world. I also have a digital world, and I teach clients how to create their own digital world. And in your real world, you do things like join the chamber and you network. You do things like support nonprofits and serve on boards. All of those in real life things are things that I've been doing digitally for literally the last 16 years. And so I am so passionate about the true concept of creating a beautiful digital world. And so the clients who really love us, and the clients we love to work with, believe in that concept, understand that concept, and they want that. They're not there to just get online and sell a product and leave.
You've been very open about social media addiction and mental health. Could you share about that?
Yes. So as much as I love social media, I had to have what I'm going to call is like some come to Jesus moments with social media, because and online and technology, it all kind of blends into one. As beautiful as social media and the digital world can be, it can become quite addicting. And if you have read Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport, who also wrote Deep Work, which is a phenomenal book, the people who are creating these social networks and these platforms are literally creating these tools to become addictive. And I fell into an addiction with social media really badly in 2016. And that was also, so 2016, that was, that was a pretty crazy year. It was wild. It was the year I started my business. It was also an election year. I am someone who considers themselves a bit of an activist. I'm okay with that. I'm also kind of moderate. So when you want to put me in a bucket, please don't put me in a bucket. I can still be an active moderate. Okay. But I was pretty active, and I was on social media for more than 10 hours a day, because that's where I was in Nevada. I was living in Reno, Nevada at the time. I was obsessed with connecting with my friends on social, because I had friends from across the country. I was just starting my online business okay, because I worked from home, so my business was primarily online. I was managing other people's social media accounts. This was back when I don't manage social accounts anymore, but this was back when I was like the only person in the business, so I had to. I was politically active. I think that covers all the bullets, but like, oh my God, social media took over my life. And I was not able to set appropriate boundaries. And I fell into a social media addiction that actually lasted almost 4 years. And I went through points of addiction because it wasn't just linear and growing. It was 10 hours one day, 8 hours another day, 12 hours one day, just insane. Okay, just insane amounts of time on social media. And it really took a toll on my mental health. I also had things going on in my real life that was taking a toll on my mental health. And I struggled with depression from 2016 to 2019. And it wasn't until 2019 that I realized what an impact my social media addiction, well, first of all, that I called it a social media addiction. I didn't name it until 2019. And two, I didn't realize what an impact it was having on my mental health until that time as well. And I'm not afraid to call it addiction. I'm in digital minimalism, Cal Newport, even just like says, basically, we understand that addiction is a scary word, but to say, and I'm literally reading right now, these are not my words, these are Cal Newport's words, but to psychologists, addiction has a careful definition that's stripped of more lurid elements. So a representative example is addiction is a condition in which a person engages in the use of a substance or a behavior for which the rewarding effects provide a compelling incentive to repeatedly pursue the behavior despite the detrimental consequences. And let me tell you, the serotonin release, the dopamine release, the oxytocin release that you get when you experience different heart pop notifications when you're posting and you're publishing and you're starting to get this online validation, it's addicting. And I had been coming up as an influencer, like a business influencer. It's something I don't choose to, that's not something I choose to identify with as my life. That's not something I want to be. I'd like to be a leader. I don't want to be an influencer, if that makes sense, just because that word has gotten tainted in my opinion. But yeah, I really struggled with this, and I had to learn how to pull myself out of this behavior, which I did. And I'm proud of myself for doing, but I did struggle with that for almost, timeline wise, it's like 3 years, but when I look at the calendar, it was almost 4 years.
So using your words, pulling yourself out of that, how do you balance that with what you do, what your company does? How do you find that happy medium?
Yeah, boundaries, dude, boundaries.
Yes.
So I'm a huge, very open proponent of therapy. I'm not ashamed to talk about it. I'm not ashamed to advocate for it. I love therapy. Everyone should go to some type of counselor or coach or whoever it is that like really just helps you learn and understand your feelings, and then also learn and understand boundaries. And I saw a great therapist, and I've also seen different coaches for the last few years of my life. And then also once I understood a concept, I would read. And I was able to, so I decided to take the road of cognitive behavioral therapy. And I was very interested in this because I like science, and I like data, and I like feelings. I'm one of those that likes all of it. And I started to realize the correlation between the pathways in your brain and the way that you feel. And to answer your question about how did I balance this in my business, I realized, and by the way, plug for The Power of Habit. I'm not affiliated. I just love this book. I realized that I had gotten myself into these really bad habit cycles with social media, and it was not actually doing anything productive for my business. I was literally just wasting time on social media. And this is something that a lot of business owners come to me and they're like, nothing's working on social, and I spend all my time on social, but nothing's working. And I'm like, well, like very specifically, what are you doing? And I really try to peel back the onion layer. And if you're listening to this, ask yourself some of these questions. Like, when I am on social media, am I publishing? Am I creating? Or am I scrolling? Because those are very different things, and not all of those things need to happen on platform. So let's dissect some of this. When I say that content creation, like you're creating, so okay, I have things I want to say to my audience. I now, in my process, not only for Amanda McLernon's content, but also my business's content and also our clients' content creation does not happen on platform. It happens offline. And thanks to Cal Newport with deep work, we close everything else and we write the content. We just write. You can do that offline. Also, when you are publishing does not need to take a ton of time online. I don't have a hard stat for this, but in the social media world, we basically have this like rough rule is like when you're going through a product launch, or when you're like Black Friday sales, or when you are launching a new coaching program, whatever it is, do you know what I mean? When you are in promotion mode, you are producing 7 times the amount of content you are consuming. And where I see business owners say, oh, I'm spending all my time on social media, they're not producing content, they're consuming. Well, no shit, it's not working. Like, sorry, didn't mean to swear. I got into the zone there. But like, no kidding, it's not working, because you just consuming other people's content is doing nothing for your business. So we now have processes, and this is part of what we do in our strategy and in our coaching, is help businesses set up these processes in their own business to take this stuff offline. Now, there is some level of online that you need to be, and I'm currently coaching my team through this because I now have content creators who do the publishing. But you can be online for publishing, you can be online for engagement, but when you are online, set an intention. And this is a huge thing. This goes back to mindfulness and why we talk about mindfulness. What is your intention for, okay, I am picking up my phone. What is my intention right now? Am I going to go online and look to connect a little deeper with people I already know? Cool. Where does that happen? What platform do I want to connect deeper with people I already know and love? Or do I need to grow my community because my community is very small? And you think about, the way that I like to teach this is, think about your offline habits and just translate them to online habits. So if you're like, oh dude, I need to go grow my network, what do? You go to a networking event. That's intentionality. I'm going to grow my network. Well, online, there's tons of places for you to go. There's Facebook groups, there's LinkedIn groups, there's hashtags, there's different online communities that you can go find. So if you are going to sit down for an hour and scroll, your intention might be, I am looking for new people to meet online to grow my online network. Does that make sense?
I like that, because not only, what I like about it is the with intention part, because there's an end in sight. I was just having a discussion with someone today about creating videos. And I get really frustrated when it's obvious that someone has kind of not prepared a script or prepared kind of an outline so that you know where you're going.
I definitely sometimes do that. I'm practicing like speaking improv, but I get it. I'm frustrating myself, so I agree.
So it's kind of this this stream of consciousness kind of thinking. And you also, like you pointed out, you kind of also see this on social media. It's like, I'm going to take all this content and I'm just going to splatter it like Jackson Pollock, and not have a beautiful creation at the end like a Jackson Pollock, but rather chaos.
Yes.
So it sounds like you have to strategize, and that's where your company comes in, is that you work with those business owners to kind of create the roadmap to success, for lack of a better word.
Well, and just lead them into the questions that they can answer themselves. One of the best things about being a strategist is just knowing what questions to ask. Because let me tell you, for every business owner like listening right now, you probably know what your audience needs to hear better than I do. I just need to help you get into the process to getting that message out there. And you might not be the best at graphics. That's okay. We can hire someone, like you could hire us to help with that, or we can get you someone else to help with that. What you need is the process of, what do your customers need to hear and know from your brand, and how do we create from there, and when does it get published, and how does it look, not even from a superficial, but like, how does it land? It's something that's really big. My mom taught me that, like, how is whatever you are saying landing? Because I did speaking competitions when I was younger, and your tone, the like, everything that you would think about in a physical world, think about that online, and think about, what mood is my person in when they're receiving this piece of content? Do you know what I mean? What else are they experiencing? I've seen more tone deaf posts from brands in the last couple of weeks, even through COVID, even through everything, just because they don't understand the many moods that their customers are feeling and experiencing right now. And their content just is like, oh, I just assume you're in a chipper, normal, everyday mood. Might not be the case right now. So anyway, I help coach business owners into really understanding that tone.
Well, to kind of take the pulse is what it sounds like.
Totally. It's just reading your audience, which isn't something any good speaker does, which, I know a lot of business owners don't necessarily think of themselves as speakers, but if your business is speaking, you're a speaker.
Exactly. So with that in mind, what suggestions do you have for people regarding reducing their social media consumption while maintaining their online relationships?
Yeah, I have a ton of advice, but I've tried to boil it down to a few specific pieces of advice. So if you see me looking down, I'm looking at my stickies. Um, so the first thing is doing a hard self audit for where you're currently at. Are you finding yourself mindlessly tapping into the app and scrolling? If you are, we need to stop that behavior, and I've got tricks for you, but like, do a self audit. Or are you okay? You're not mindlessly scrolling, you're just not doing anything. If that's the case, some of these tips won't work for you. I don't want to say won't work for you, but I'm really speaking to the person who is just finding themselves mindlessly scrolling right now and just spending way too much time there. The first thing is, determine your own boundaries. So my boyfriend and I have a very different relationship with social media. I am a social butterfly. I've moved all over this country. Some of my best friends I only see twice a year, but I interact with them daily on social media. So my relationship with social is, I am always going to be online more than he is. Also because of my business, I'll be on more. Whatever the boundaries are for you and your life, and what is right for your life, that, like, you need to determine your own boundaries. So how much time do you want to be spending on social media on a daily basis? And we start with that, by the way, because you can have a roaring social media strategy, but if you only want to be online for 15 minutes a day, I got news for you. We're not going to have a roaring social media strategy. We're going to have a small social media strategy, and you're going to find other ways to market your business. Okay, that being said, determine your own boundaries. I can help with that. There's other books about boundaries that if you just learn about boundaries, you can start to apply them to the digital world. But number two is, in The Power of Habit, it talks about, when you are in the cycle of a habit, which, by the way, addictions are habit cycles. And that's kind of what the book teaches. And this is what I learned about my own life. So when we're in a habit cycle, we need to find new routines and new activities to replace the old activities when our craving is triggered. So for me, one of the ways I used to be triggered was validation. My ego needed validation. So I would go online and be like, what is Amanda McLernon going to say today? By the way, I was never that obnoxious. It's just that sometimes I'm mean to myself, and that's me being mean to myself. I was a very sweet girl. But no, I won't be mean to myself. That was mean. But I was searching, just to be very vulnerable. When I was at my low place in my depression, I was searching for love. I was very lonely. I was incredibly lonely, and I'm a social butterfly, but my depression had stopped me from being able to do social activities in the real world. So I would log online to try to get my lack of loneliness and my validation fulfilled, and not in a malicious way, not in a malicious way, in a way that just, I just needed it. We all need to be loved. We all need that love. And so I that was my activity. My routine was going to social. When I realized this, I realized I had to pull that away and not get on social and call a friend. And so it was still connecting, and it was still using technology, because I couldn't leave my house for a little while. Like I was just deep. So I could connect with a friend, and that was my removal of the activity and then the input of a new activity. And I still got my reward, which was my friends. I wasn't as lonely. I got my friends, either my friends' validation or that. And and by the way, I did eventually need to keep rebuilding my habits. My whole life is just rebuilding my habits and building new good habits. But that at least stopped the activity. So figure out what your new routine is now, because I'm not seeking as much, because I'm like in a happy place. Yay. For the most part, by the way, it's still a really challenging time, and we've caught us in the flow in a really good moment. I still feel other hard things, like a lot. But now when I feel myself going for this, I'm like, we're going to do a craft project, because it stimulates some other area of my brain. It's a new activity. So that's my second piece of advice. My third is, when you're deep in the cycle of addiction, you got to set up blocks, and not just deep in the cycle. But to this day, I still have to block myself from this addictive behavior. And I want to remind everyone, this is not your fault for being addicted to these apps. If you are, or if you ever develop an addiction to these apps, they literally were designed to addict you. So you have to put up the blocks. What are those blocks? Well, there's a couple. The first one is just the incredible, amazing act of turning your phone off. Because then when you go to pick it up, it's just like this heavy, dead block. And you're like, what is even this thing? I don't need this. Sorry, I get a little silly. But turn it off, because it takes so much effort to turn it on that you've got multiple seconds to check yourself and to change your behavior, right? The other one is, I have a phone box. My computer's currently sitting on it. Otherwise, I'd try to show it. But it's a phone box. And it's more than just a phone box, but it's a beautiful box. And it's where my phone goes when I don't want to use it, again, for the evening. And out of sight, out of mind. I forget that once I hop back into the real world and I'm really connected with the real world, my pull to the digital world is not quite so strong. And so when I put it out of sight, out of mind, I'm not as ready to get back on it. Then these next two are things that you do on your phone. So one is remove the apps that trigger you from your home screen. For me, it's not just social. It's also my email. They don't even go, like, it's not even, sometimes, and I move my apps a lot, because also sometimes your brain memorizes where your apps are. So even if it's on one screen over, you'll find it. Hide them from yourself. Like, put a little Easter egg hunt. Put it on the 4th page if you've got a lot of apps. But remove it from the initial screen, because again, it sets up that layer. It sets up that boundary for you, so you can have that one extra layer to say, wait, do I have an intentional reason for going on social right now? And by the way, sometimes your intention can be, I am just mindlessly scrolling. But then be aware of it, set a timer, and commit to that, right? And by the way, I'm not, everyone's like, well, you own a social media agency, and aren't you teaching people to get off social media? I'm teaching them to intentionally get off social media, because I will also tell you that sometimes I intentionally go on shopping trips on social media, just like I used to go on when I used to go to the mall, right? So I will be like, it's a shopping trip today. I have $200. I want to shop with my money locally, and I might need a pair of pants, and maybe I don't know what I need, but I'm just going to go browse. And so I intentionally get on social media to shop. So just FYIs for all my business owners who have products or something else. And you're like, oh my God, but if everyone gets off social media, where am I going to sell my stuff? It's okay to teach your followers to intentionally get offline. Just teach them how to shop with you and make you a part of their online shopping habit. Okay, finally, put your phone in grayscale. This is like the best trick I've ever learned. It's a shortcut. I can't teach how to do it without 10 steps. So I'm just going to tell you, Google it, how to put my phone in grayscale with whatever type of phone you have. Here's my phone. See, that's me, my cute boyfriend, by the way. And all of a sudden, like, I can't. So 3 clicks on the home screen. 1, 2, 3. Grayscale. There are triggers in color. Truly triggers. It releases a little bit more serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin. It's why artists use so much color. It's why I love color. So do apps. Sorry, I got blurry there. I went too close to my camera. Don't know how to get that on blurry now. Whoops.
I'm sure it'll be.
Oh, whatever. But change it into grayscale. Change it into grayscale, and just you're gonna have a lot less of a pull to your social apps once you do that. So those are my tips.
Do you think we can put together an infographic with these tips? Because I think a lot of people from this. Okay. So
absolutely. I mean, yes. I will also add it to my content list. I will say right now, so we are in the period of a mass transition in our business. And so our social media channels are not as strategic at the exact moment as I want them to be, but it's also because, and I need to make this point for all my business owners out there who are transitioning their business and their services, partly because of the revolution. Like, we are in a digital revolution right now. Just like we had the industrial revolution, we are in a absolute digital revolution. And if your products and services aren't shifting, or if your presence online isn't shifting, I would encourage you to challenge yourself on that, because there's a lot of shifts that are happening. And right now, when you're making those shifts in your business, sometimes your social media just needs to show up a little and keep a little pulse. And right in this exact moment, that's kind of what we're doing. And we are launching with a ton of new infographics, a ton of helpful resources. I think we are coming out with all of this helpful stuff probably next week and the week after. So if you're listening to this, hopefully you can see ours, but yes, we can make an infographic.
And you're also, in light of recent events, kind of pivoting your mission a little bit. Could you go into that a little bit?
Yes. And I'm going to be fully transparent when I say our messaging is not done. And we are in the midst of a huge branding and messaging project internally that, doesn't get seen on the outside world. Keep Social Media Social. That thought came to me. Those words came to me in 2016 when I was lamenting, which is my fancy word for complaining, to a friend about basically, oh my God, I was spending so much time on social media, and I was watching politicians be terrible. I was watching, and by the way, I was 25 years old. Yes, I was an adult, but you're still a young adult at 25, okay? Like, you're still, like, I look back at that Amanda, and for those of you listening, I'm 28 now, and I know I've just turned 29, JK. But I know I'm still young, and I know I still have a lot to learn, but I just have to say that, like, I was 25 years old, and I was watching leaders online have absolutely atrocious behavior. And I was like, why are we letting our leaders get away with atrocious behavior? Like, why is this acceptable just because it's online? What is going on here? This isn't what I was taught what a good leader was. So why is it that when we take our leadership online, the bar is lowered? Why is that? And so I was lamenting that, like, I wish we could just keep social media social. And what that meant to me at the time was, like, human, was keeping it, like, even decent. Do you know what I mean? Like just keep like social as if you were being social in the real world. Like, why have we forgotten that we are talking to other people when we talk online? Why have we forgotten that when you put out a tweet, those are words that matter. Those are words that hit people. Those are words that make other people have feelings. Why have we forgotten how to be good leaders just because we got online?
So with that, how is McLernon and Company pivoting in response to that, I'm going to say toxic culture?
Yeah. Thank you for asking that. And we will still have part of our business will be a social media agency, but we are being called to a much bigger mission right now. And I am just absolutely thrilled with what we are creating and what we are about to launch. And we are going to become a company that provides resources and education and examples and learnings for people, all people on the internet. I want to talk to business owners. I want to talk to teachers. I want to talk to coaches. I want to talk to parents. I want to talk to students. And really what we want to do is help people become better online leaders, because our physical world right now needs good online leaders. But guess what? So does our digital world. And our digital world, I'm not seeing these resources wildly out there being taught online about how to be a good online citizen. I said I grew up in 4-H. For any of you listening, I love 4-H. 4-H, head, heart, hands, health. 4-H taught me everything about what it meant to be a good leader. And I'm not seeing that as an adult online. And you know what? In 2016, my social contract with social media was obliterated. It was ruined. And by the way, I'm sure it happened before 2016. It's just that was kind of the critical point that I realized it was broken. That's what inspired me to start the company. And we had to start the agency first because very lovingly, that is the most business end of the engine of the thing that we are building here. But now we are being called to serve in so much more of a way. And I hope that we are the resource that people think of when they think of what it means to be a good online citizen in this digital world that we've created. And that's what we're creating. And I think you're going to start to see content from us in most of this content will be publishing in Q4 of 2020. We are working so hard behind the scenes to create this all right now. And we are speaking on it because we need the message right now, but we are working on all the content. And I really hope that people will continue to stay along with us and to get this message out because we need good online leaders.
Amanda, let's talk about power partners. Now, for our audience, power partners are those businesses that target the same client that you do, but are not your competition. So, for example, a social media agency and perhaps a photographer, because they kind of help one another for the same client.
Yes.
And so with that being said, we kind of need to get an understanding of who your ideal client is. So Amanda, who is your ideal client?
This is a beautiful question. And I'm going to answer in a way that I don't think a lot of businesses answer this question. An ideal client is someone who loves our energy. Our ideal client is someone who loves our mission. Our ideal client is someone who wants to help make the world a better place with the gift that they have. And whatever that gift is, whether it's online or offline, if you are having something that is just absolutely screaming to you that you need to do, that's a good client for us. I will say most of our clients have been in business for at least a year. Usually we start working with businesses when they're 2 to 3 years in. They've got their feet on the ground. They've definitely got a good revenue stream, but they are ready to really take things to the next level. They're probably ready for a little bit more of automation in the whatever process they're currently using. They're probably ready to start help delegating more. They might be learning to delegate as a business owner the first time, and that is something that we cover with our coaching. A lot of our businesses are product based, but we do also do service-based businesses. We do a little bit of work in the true B2B field, but I will be transparent that not a lot of it is in the B2B world. So primarily B2C, and right now it's also primarily product-based.
So who else targets that client? Like I mentioned earlier, I think a photographer would be an excellent power partner.
Honestly, our best power partners are other marketing agencies, because a lot of times they can't help the client in the way that we can. They don't understand how to set up a social media process. All of our best clients have come from marketing agencies. And so we don't consider ourselves competition. I have absolutely no interest in doing anything beyond social. Just none. I mean, truly none. So we also, we have huge referral partnerships set up with all types of different agencies, because then when someone comes to us because they like our energy, but they need web, they need PPC, they need SEO, they need something else, we are also able to refer back. So I will say marketing agencies are our absolute best power partners. Website companies, SEO companies, PPC companies, email companies. And then also I will say, if you know a social media manager, we love working with social media managers because, number one, we do coach other social media managers. We also have a ton of business that does not fit our exact service model that we need to help them get someone else in. And we are working right now on a certification program that will help social media managers level up their game, and if they're running their own business, be more profitable. So we can really help work with them and coach them, and then provide them a pretty steady stream of referrals. So if you know of someone who is in social media world, and sorry, that's actually like a name of a company. So in the social media world, let me be very clear, like in the sphere of the of the social media world, and they are looking just to grow their connections, we would love to help them. And with that being said, I also need to be really, really, really vulnerable and transparent here. We are absolutely looking for more diverse social media managers. This industry, full transparency, is kind of white, and I would love to help other minority voices, other minority social media managers grow their businesses, because this is such an incredible market and it's such an incredible world. And I love the learnings that we've had, and I am ready to start sharing that with them.
Well, speaking of sharing, what is the best way for people to reach out to you? And I already think I know the answer.
Send a smoke signal. No, just kidding. I'm totally kidding. Okay. So if you're like, wow, I don't know what I need to do, but I somehow need to work with that woman. Even if you're not even sure how, please email me. Please don't direct message me, because I'm drowning in direct social messages. My email is amanda@McLernandCo.com. So if you want to work together, shoot me an email. Please be very clear about what it is you're trying to make happen, because my inbox is also a very intense place right now, which is lovely. I'm not complaining, but please be direct. If you want to follow me, hang out with me, get to know me, hear more of my talks, follow me on Instagram. It's Amanda McLernon. And again, McLernon is McLernon. Other than that, I do have other social profiles, but that's not where I live. So Instagram is where I live.
Well, there you have it, viewers. Amanda, thank you for joining us today on Your Virtual Coffee. We could not do the show without people like you and without viewers like you. Thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and have a great day.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Your Virtual Coffee is sponsored by Ventola Law. Ventola Law, mediation and legal representation at an expert level. You can find them at ventolalaw.com. Thanks for joining me today. For more information on Your Virtual Coffee, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and wait for it, our website at yourvirtualcoffee.com. Thanks again for watching and have an incredible day.